Good morning. You are listening to National Real Estate Auction Radio. I am your host, Doug Dennison, and we are broadcasting from beautiful St. Augustine, Florida, the nation's oldest city at WFOY 1240 AM studios. Through the power of the Internet, this program is being streamed worldwide on 1240news.com. The show will also be archived on RowellAuctions.com, who's the sponsor of the show, and also YouTube.com. We're going to be talking about real estate auctions, past auctions, upcoming auctions, different real estate markets across the country. We've got lots of topics today. To help us out, we have several real estate and auction leaders calling in today. Let me go over our schedule and a few things about the people who will be calling in. First off, we've got Jose Rodriguez from Berman, Rennert, Vogel, and Mandler, an attorney from Miami, Florida. We then have Stephen Nation with the Nations Technologies Group in Lake Mary, Florida. Then we'll have Mark Motley, who's the president of Motley's Auction and Realty Group from Richmond, Virginia. Then Fernando Garcia with Hinshaw and Culberson, Miami attorney. And then we'll have John Rowell, who's with Rowell Auctions from Georgia. We have a caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Doug. It's Joe Rodriguez. How are you?
Well, fine. How are you, sir?
I'm very good.
Well, good. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your company. What do you do?
Well, I'm a real estate attorney down in Miami.
Okay.
And the law firm that I work for is called Berman, Rennert, Vogel, and Mandler. We're about a 20-man law firm that handles almost exclusively the high-rise development of condominium towers over in the center of Miami and up and down the beach all the way up to Broward County.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've, of course, met you before and was in your offices. We talked a little bit about the condo market, but it seems like it's changed a little bit in the last maybe 6 months. Do you have a feel of what's going on with the condo market right now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we deal with it every day. I'm looking out my window right now and looking at least 14, 15 towers that didn't exist 7 years ago. And, every tower has its story. Every tower has gone through an amazing roller coaster ride over the last 5 or 6 years. And what's happening most recently is that in just about every tower that got caught in this crunch that occurred somewhere around 2007, the lenders are now firmly in control of the tower or are intricately involved in just about every aspect of the operation and sales of those towers. So once that has occurred in most of these towers, what you're looking at is basically two philosophies: lenders that want to sell their inventory at the current market price, and if that is the idea that they have put forth, you are seeing condominium units move pretty steadily because they are reflective of the current market value. There are other lenders that have decided to hold for a little bit, and their prices are a little bit higher than market. These are some of the more luxury, kind of boutique type of developments. And you see that there's inventory that's moving, just not as quickly as the ones that are being marketed and sold at some aggressive pricing today, or what's reflective of the market today. But the inventory is certainly dwindling very quickly, and I would suspect a lot quicker than most people ever anticipated.
Well, yeah, and I had a caller on last week that we talked a little bit about this this marketplace, but it seemed from the world looking in that Miami was having serious trouble, and specifically because of the condo market. And now it seems like, just like you say, they are being sold, and it's much quicker than anyone expected. Is this the influx of buyers from South America, or is this group sales, bulk sales? Where is everything being sold to? Where are all this action taking place?
We're on the side of the sellers, of the developers, and we're really not in the area of representing the buyers that come, although we see them at the closings
Right.
when they come to the office, obviously. And what we're seeing is basically a lot of cash buyers. Financing is available, but relatively cumbersome to get.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people that start the process end up abandoning the process and saying, I'm just going to pay cash for this unit because I don't want them to ask me for any more papers.
Right.
And what we're seeing is really a lot of foreign buyers, some Europeans, some people coming south from the north, east area of the country, and we are seeing some small bulk deals. You know, an investor that comes in and buys 4 units, 3 units, usually one for himself and a couple for speculation, which is really an interesting phenomenon because everybody starts talking about this double dip possibility,
Mm-hmm.
and really that may happen to a very small degree if the market continues to strengthen and these people that have bought 3 units and 4 units and 5 units think that the time is right to start selling their units, then you're going to see a little bit more inventory come back into the market. But that will only be as a result of an increase of a stronger market and the prices going up. So I don't anticipate that's really going to have a major effect on this comeback, but it may have a little bit of a pause if, in fact, the market comes back strong in the next year or two.
Well, is it the time to buy right now, do you think? Or, I mean, you never know, and no one has the crystal ball, but I'm very, very interested in your thoughts. Is it a good time to buy as a investor?
It seems to me that most people out there that have been looking at this market, including some of my clients that are very well healed in this market and were not really in the mix at the very end of it in '06 and '07,
Right.
All feel like this is probably a good time to buy. It may not be the complete bottom, or maybe we already passed the bottom, but they feel like we're either close enough to it or have just come off of it, and it's good enough, to make some investments. There's no doubt that the real estate market in South Florida, specifically in Miami, is going to come back strong. It's just a matter of when, and it's already kind of started to do that. So there's just too much going on here, and too many people coming from all over the world for this market to lag for any period of time. We're already experiencing the recovery. So I think that by and large, most people today, at least speaking with their pocketbooks and not with their mouths, are responding to the market and buying now.
What do you think about the financing? Is that going to ease up? Again, it's hard to buy when you can't find financing. Do you see any kind of light at the end of the tunnel there?
That's a two-prong issue. It's end financing for buyers, and it's development financing for developers.
Right.
And I will tell you that most of my clients that were fortunate enough to survive this crisis, which really hurt and killed some longtime developers, are now being approached by some of their lenders that they've had good relationships with in the past and have been asked to look for a project that they could look at as a lender and see if it makes sense to give some kind of extension of financing. But that, of course, is ultimately driven by the ability of these developers to develop something that they can sell to an end unit buyer that has the ability to close at a certain price. So the first step is the financing to the developer, and I think that now you're starting to see lenders saying we need to get back in the business of lending, which is what we do.
Right.
But we need to be very selective, and we'd really like to look at some projects to see where and how much and how we would finance now after this gigantic hit that the lenders have taken. And then it just begs the question of, well, even if we could build something like this and get it financed, how can we get the end users to buy? Obviously today there's a lot of cash buyers, but that has not historically been the norm. So there needs to be a loosening or at least some kind of a commitment, probably from these same lenders, that they will provide some kind of end loan financing to facilitate the actual success of these projects. So I think financing is obviously a primary issue as far as getting it off the ground. And number two, it's the end conclusion or the success of the project to make certain that the unit's actually closed, which is what got us into the crisis. Everybody had sold it under contracts.
Right.
But when the market dropped, nobody came to closing.
Right. Right.
Partially because there was no financing available.
Yep. Joe, excuse me. How do people get a hold of you? What is your website, telephone number, email, so that they can talk to you and hopefully give you some business?
That would be great. It's the website for the firm is BRVM, Berman Renard Vogel Mandler Law.com. You'll find me there. My direct email is jrodriguez, RODRIGUEZ, at brvmlaw.com. And my direct dial is 305-423-3424. And we're sitting in the epicenter, and we've been very fortunate to ride this roller coaster and be very, very close to a lot of the big deals that made the headlines for the last 7 or 8 years. And I will tell you, it's been quite an experience for everybody, including people that have been in this business for over 30 years, that had never seen anything like this.
Well, we thank you for your call and appreciate your fine work down there. And next time I'm in the area, I'll look you up. And again, appreciate you taking your time on this Memorial Day weekend.
Doug, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much. Much continued success. The radio show I've listened to, and it's doing great. You are bringing in some very, very good speakers that are very knowledgeable about a lot of aspects of real estate, which I would have expected from a guy of your experience.
Hey, thanks a lot. You take care now.
You be well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Joe Rodriguez from Miami, an attorney.
MarkNet Alliance is a national, membership-based network of 41 auction companies. Our companies are successful auction professionals with proven track records and thriving businesses. The MarkNet companies have a staff of over 540 employees who are working hard every day to meet the goals of their clients during our ever-changing economy. MarkNet companies are able to achieve these goals through cutting-edge technologies and ever-growing investor pools. To view the hundreds of auctions currently being conducted, or for more information, visit marknetalliance.com.
Okay, we are back, and again, we are the National Real Estate Auction Radio Show, and very pleased to be here on a Friday, Memorial Day weekend. Have some great callers. We just missed somebody in the call. Hopefully, they'll call right back. Just heard from a Mr. Jose Rodriguez from Miami, an attorney. We have another call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, this is Stephen Nation with Nation Technologies.
Hey, Steve. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. And yourself?
Well, fine. Thank you so much for calling in today. And tell me what you do. And tell me a little bit about yourself and what Nation Technologies is.
Well, let's start with a little bit about what we do. We provide a service to improve the controls for electronic information to meet the numerous demands for to meet regulatory compliance, both state and federal, to protect sensitive electronic information at all times.
Well, how does that pertain to the real estate world? Give me some examples.
Well, some examples would be dealing with on the appraisal front, inspectors, real estate brokers. They're required to protect information containing personal identifying information, as well as protect their clients and protect the institution that they're doing the work for. So what we've done is we've gone back to the basics of the protection of information. We provide that service to not necessarily protect the method of delivery of the data, which tends to be the focus in today's environment, but actually the data itself. So according to FTC guidelines, according to a number of other vertical market regulations, the data itself must be protected. So when it comes to the real estate broker or real estate environment, the agent can now deliver sensitive information via any electronic means to the consumer as well as to the institution. And that information is always protected. It's always tracked. It's automatically logged in all the activity is logged in a detailed forensic report to limit liability and overall just increase the level of confidence.
Well, that's interesting. You talk, number one, liability, and then also number two, security. Who are your clients? Is it lenders? Who are your clients that want your services, Steve?
We deal in all vertical markets, whether it's medical, whether it's real estate, whether it's dealing with small institutions or small, medium-sized companies as well as enterprises. That's the beauty of dealing with electronic information, is everybody deals with it and everybody's required to protect it.
Well, it's really fascinating because again we're in an age where you're especially with emails, you're not really sure what's coming in, if it's real, whether it's not real. You need to be sensitive to security. How did you get in this business? I see from your bio here you were a graduate of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy and also went to Institute for Defense and Strategic Studies. Tell us how you kind of got into this thing.
Well, by chance, I got involved in the intelligence environment following 9/11 and was actively involved in that arena for about 4 years, and was presented with an opportunity to make an immediate impact difference outside of in the commercial market. That I thought dealing with the biometrics and encryption and some of the up-and-coming technologies, I thought it would be a great opportunity to actually have to instill a real impact in the market, as opposed to being behind the scenes and never being quoted and everybody else getting the credit.
Let's talk a little bit about the 9/11. You worked with the New York Police Department Intelligence Division, and apparently you were the first civilian to be brought into this elite group. That's quite an honor.
Yes, it was definitely quite an honor at that time. I'm sure you and your listeners have followed the press a little bit or heard some of it, but we had a lot of power, and we were able to accomplish great things.
Well, that's exciting. Where do you see technology moving in the future? What kind of innovative things are you thinking are going to happen in the near future?
Well, I can actually address that question for the servicing side. Okay. In real estate. I believe that the technological innovation to build a better mousetrap in the mortgage industry has outpaced risk management and regulation for most of the last decade. Now, this deficiency is what has created this unprecedented leverage, which was too often not controlled or managed and ultimately led to both the housing boom and bust. So I see the next wave of innovation is more likely to focus on controls, regulatory compliance, safety and soundness, and most of all, meaningful and workable risk management tools. Now, this enhanced and innovative risk management applies to both the origination and servicing sides of the mortgaging business. The need for risk management innovation on the servicing side is clearly illustrated in last year's breakdown in the foreclosure processing, followed by the enforcement actions levied against those 8 prominent banking companies.
Right. So you think that through your technologies and your services, you would have been able to help them never get into this mess in the first place?
Well, I don't know if we could have prevented greed, but we could have provided the the auditing controls to be proactive.
Right.
The issue for robo-signing, where you've got individuals falsely presenting themselves as somebody else,
yep.
would have never occurred. There would be automated auditing controls for who's actually performing these transactions, who to hold liable, whether it's the appraiser, whether it's the broker, whether it's just overall fraud in the process.
Mm-hmm. Well, very, very fascinating. Steve, how can people get a hold of you and to use your services?
Well, they can get a hold of me by contacting the office. Once again, the company name is Nation Technologies Group, Inc. The best number to reach would be the toll-free number, which, let me just pull that one up real quick.
I got it right here, 888-391-8287. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. I never call it.
I understand. Let me give it to the listeners again. It's 888-391-8287. And again, our listeners are a combination of real estate brokers, investors, bankers, government officials. And so give me your website, please.
The website is nationtechnologies.com. That's NATIONTECHNOLOGIES.com.
Very, very good. Hey, Steve, thank you so much for calling. You enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and you've got a great thing going there. I'm very pleased that you had the time to call in today, and again, have a great weekend.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and have a great Memorial Day weekend as well.
All right, Steve, thanks. Okay, that was Steve Nation from Nation's Technologies Group. He's out of Lake Mary, Florida, doing fascinating work in regards to security and liability issues in the real estate area. Very, very cutting-edge stuff, so very impressed, and thank you, Steve, for calling in. We've had Jose Rodriguez, who called in from Berman, Rennert, Vogel, in Mandler. They're an attorney firm out of Miami. Talked a lot about the condos, and again, Miami condos are a lot of what people want to hear about. Just not in the Florida area, but really, the buyers have become global, and very, very excited to hear that kind of stuff. Again, what we have is a show that the mission statement is to provide an educational experience for listeners in a promotional format for auctions across the country. Again, our listeners are real estate brokers, auctioneers, government officials, media. We're very proud to have this show on. It is sponsored by Rowell Auctions, who is a group out of Georgia with offices in many other states, a national firm. Again, Rowell Auctions is rowellauctions.com, and that's ROWELL auctions.com. We're going to be taking a quick break at the half hour, and we'll be right back with lots of other guests. Thank you for listening in.
It's time to visit the St. John's Flea Market. Great deals every weekend. Every weekend there's more, too. Great bargains and great food and those great deals at the St. John's Flea Market. Get off I-95 at State Road 207. That's I-95 at 207. And if you want to be a vendor, hey, booth rentals start at only $10 a day. Churches and charities, you can get a free booth 2 days a month. And for everybody else, there's always great deals at the St. John's Flea Market. Call them up, 824-4210, or go to stjohnsfleamarket.com.
Licensed by the state as a skilled nursing facility and certified for a broad range of payer types, the Ponce Therapy Care Center's team of professionals is committed to providing the best nursing care and rehabilitation services. Choosing a skilled nursing facility for a loved one is always a difficult decision. At the Ponce Therapy Care Center, our admissions and social service staff assist you in making an informed, caring decision. We provide information about our facility, determine your payment options, and strategize about your loved one's regimen of care, length of stay, and expected discharge to home. At the Ponce Therapy Care Center, we are proud that over 90% of those admitted to our rehabilitation program successfully return to home. In an industry that is often seen as the final alternative, our goal is to become your first option and facility of choice for skilled nursing and rehab services. The Ponce Therapy Care Center is located at 1999 Old Moultrie Road. Call us at 824-3311 or visit us online at poncecarecenter.com.
Are you regularly taking prescription opioid pain medications and suffer from constipation? If so, please listen closely to the following message. A research study is currently underway in our area to determine if an investigational medication is safe and effective in treating constipation that commonly occurs in people taking prescription opioid pain medications. Qualified participants must be between the ages of 18 and 84 and have been taking at least one prescription opioid pain medication every day for the past 4 weeks and have experienced less than 3 bowel movements per week while taking the opioid pain medication. Qualified participants will receive a study-related investigational medication and study-related health assessments. Help us put an end to the pain, opioid, and constipation cycle and call the Jacksonville Center for Clinical Research at 904-730-0166 for more information and see if you qualify. Again, that's 904-730-0166. So if you're between the ages of 18 and 84 and taking prescription opioid pain medication and have experienced less than 3 bowel movements per week, call 904-730-0166.
The nation's top show about safe retirement planning is now on News Talk 1240 WFOY. Saturdays at 10 a.m., it's the Financial Safari, featuring investment advisor Jeanette Bajalia, one of the nation's leaders in planning for retirement savings and income. Learn how you can turn a lump sum into a retirement income that you cannot outlive. It's the Financial Safari, featuring Jeanette Bajalia, Saturdays at 10 a.m. on News Talk 1240 WFOY.
Okay, we're back. You're listening to the National Real Estate Auction Radio Show. We just had a caller, and they just went off. Hopefully, they'll call back in again. The show is here for you guys. It's the radio show mission statement to provide an educational experience for listeners in a promotional format for auctions across the country. We've had wonderful guests, and I'd like to actually talk about some of the guests that we've had on this show. But there's callers coming in, and we'll get back to that in just a minute. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Yes. Is this
Mark Motley calling in, Motley's Auctions, Richmond, Virginia.
Well, very good, Mark. Thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it. Tell me a little bit about what you do, and again, tell me a little bit about your firm.
Sure. Well, my company was established by my parents, like many others, back in 1967. And we started off selling antiques and collectibles over the years. With the passing of my mother and my dad retiring in '88, I had some ideas of doing some different things, so we moved into industrial equipment and assets. We also started an auto auction back in 1989, and we're also now real estate licensed brokers as well. So we conduct weekly auto auctions at the Richmond Auto Auction. We do real estate auctions on a 3 to 4 state area from brokerage, but 95% of our sales are auctions either live or online. We have an auction gallery where we actually have items on display, antiques, fine art, etc., that we sell, and then we have a permanent construction equipment facility down on Interstate 95, just south of Richmond, where we conduct bi-monthly equipment auctions for different government, state, financial institutions where they sell heavy machinery and heavy trucks.
Very good. You say you do real estate auctions in a 4-state area. What would those states be?
Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, and also West Virginia.
Excellent, excellent. You are part of the MarkNet Alliance group. Tell me a little bit about MarkNet and why did you join up with them?
Sure. Well, we had for some time been really interested in moving our company forward with a network of auction companies. We believe there's certainly more strength in a group or a well-organized group of professional auctioneers because we get sales, maybe not just in our area, but for example, we had one in Ohio, and we've got some stuff coming up in Florida and out west, where it's actually better for us to participate and refer that deal to somebody who we know has the qualifications. And by coming together in a network where we have a group of over 40 auctioneers, it gives us a better and broader network of qualified professionals. It's better for my clients to be serviced in that fashion, and at the same time, we get referral business from them or other members of the network in different areas if they have something in our geographical territory. I'm very familiar with the organization, but I'd been approached by different members from Matt Corso, but also Tommy Rowell and Chris Pratt had brought it to my attention that this may be something we want to look at. I was involved with the Auction Executive Group many years ago, which was basically a think tank of auctioneers, and there was some discussion at one time about forming a formal alliance with that organization, but it really never took hold. So this has given us an opportunity to reap benefits from, as I mentioned, really a group or network, so that when we're developing software or developing marketing strategies, that we have 40 auctioneers investing into that instead of me doing it maybe on my own and having our company kind of going out on that bleeding edge.
Well, I went on the MarkNet Alliance website yesterday and was very pleased to see that our show is on there, the radio show, which is a wonderful thing, and really appreciate that. But also tell me if the numbers are correct. They have like 1,000 auctions going on right now. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And it varies. One minute it may be 700, the next minute it may be 1,000 plus auctions that are on the site. And again, that's kind of the strength of our network. Another reason for joining. Somebody may come to our website. We're currently running about 34 auctions on our site, and they can click through and go to the MarkNet site, to our other members' websites, where they can also explore up to 1,000 other auctions, from real estate to machinery, collectible liquidations, or whatever. So it's an extremely valuable opportunity, so that our customers, our buyers, aren't searching the web, spending a lot of time, but they can come to one source, one place, if you will, almost a auction mall, and experience opportunities for a lot of different auction companies throughout North America.
I like that word, auction mall. I mean, and I know we get questions all the time. How do I find out about auctions? When do I know? And what's the newspaper I should be looking at, or what website? And when you have 1,000 auctions, I mean, that is a go-to site. MarkNetAlliance.com must be a place that's getting a lot of hits, because when you have 1,000 auctions across the country, you're going to get some action on that website.
Well, we are, and also when we send out, everybody always gets too many emails, and I know people are somewhat shy about signing up for email notifications. But the nice thing is we're consolidating, or really concentrating that down to an email. Instead of getting it from 40 different auction companies, you can actually get that email from a MarkNet member like Motley's.com. You can receive your email notification from us. But from that email, you can also go in and explore the other 40 auction companies and the other over 1,000 auction, again, in that auction mall. So you're not inundated with so many incoming emails that I think many people disqualify.
Well, I think that's an excellent point. You talked a little bit about live auctions and internet auctions. Do you see that as a trend that's going to continue?
We do. We have a little workshop at the beginning of the year, and at the workshop last year, I said I'd really want to move our company into a 50% online auction platform, and we've done that this year, and we see that starting to increase. Tremendous amount of benefits for online auctions. When eBay came out, it was all the thought that was going to really hurt the traditional auctioneer, but it's actually helped us. It's done a great job of training the general public in how to participate at auctions, and in particular online auctions. The online auction also provides us a tremendous amount of convenience. Our competition, in my opinion, is not necessarily other auctions, but it's our customers and our buyers' time. People are so busy these days, and even though the new electronic age is supposed to make things more convenient, it actually just consumes us even more with our private time. But we want to make it easier for our buyers to participate. There will always be, in my opinion, a place for a live auction. We look at every auction that comes into the Motley's organization as how should this be conducted? Is it a live auction or should we do an online sale? And there's so many opportunities where truly an online sale is the best option. We've had sales that maybe weren't successful in a live format, and actually taken that same piece of real estate on an online format, and it's actually sold and brought a great price for our sellers.
Well, excellent. How do people get a hold of you, Mark?
Well, we're, again, at motleys.com, and we are on the web. We're also located in Richmond. We're licensed in several states. If anybody is interested in signing up, we'd love to have you on our email list, and we certainly welcome comments about our emails and the way we conduct business. I'm a second-generation auctioneer, and we really try to provide the best service that we can, as many of the other MarkNet members do. I think that if we can't help you with a sale, we certainly have all these other members in the alliance that can do that. And if it's not just with a sale, but we welcome people to come out and really experience the excitement and what great values and opportunities you can find at our auctions.
How do you spell Motley's so people looking for the website can find it easy?
Sure, just like Motley Crew, MOTLEYS.com.
Very, very good. Mark, thank you so much for calling in, and you have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.
And let's not forget our veterans who are serving now and who have served in the past. That's what it's really all about.
Exactly. Hey, thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
You bet. Bye-bye now.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, we've got another caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Doug. It's Fernando Garcia here.
Hey, Fernando. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Well, good. What a wonderful Memorial Day weekend start. It's looking good here in this part of the country. How's it looking down in the Miami area?
Well, hopefully we're going to have clear blue skies and a great Memorial Day weekend.
Well, that's wonderful. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, Fernando.
Yes, I've been in the real estate area practicing real estate in Florida for 30 years. Mm-hmm. I moved to a national firm a couple of months ago, Hinshaw & Culbertson. They're based out of Chicago, but they're an old established firm with a lot of history and a great reputation. They have offices in about 12 or 13 states, in excess of 500 attorneys, 20-something offices. In Florida, we have an office here in Miami, in Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, and Jacksonville. So it's a great firm. It's able to give me a lot of support in a lot of areas. Although my area is transactional and real estate, I get clients all the time that have litigation needs. So a firm like this is great for me. So I'm very happy here. The people are great here, and everything's working out.
Well, you're kind of in demand as a speaker. You lecture, really across the country and in various real estate condominium topics and bulk sales and acquisitions. Tell me a little bit, because we talked yesterday and you mentioned the Condominium Relief Act. Tell me about that, please.
Yeah, I basically have been doing a lot of developer work over the last 20 years or so. Mm-hmm. And while things were going great, the economic boom and the real estate boom in Florida was great. I was doing projects left and right. Obviously, things have changed after the bubble burst. There was a lot of projects throughout Florida that are upside down. In other words, a lot of associations are not receiving enough assessments to pay all of the expenses. You have a lot of foreclosures, a lot of bankruptcies, and this creates a significant amount of units available in different projects throughout. It's a great opportunity for investment, but at the same time, there's been a lot of uncertainty down here because under the current law, you can be classified as a successor developer. In other words, the original developer that developed and built the condominium.
Right.
If you acquire in excess of 5 or 7 units, depending on the size of the project, and you offer those for sale in the ordinary course of business for purchase or sale, you're presumed to be a successor developer. Well, that's fine and dandy, but the law doesn't really define what the extent of that liability will be. And traditionally, the liabilities, there's quite a few liabilities. There's construction warranty liability. There's whatever actions the prior board of directors took under the prior developer, in other words, whatever they did not do in accordance with applicable law. There's issues with funding of deficiencies when there's a guarantee of assessments by a developer. Budget irregularities, funding of reserves. I mean, there's a host of issues that you have to deal with, and I represented buyers trying to acquire these projects, but doing as much due diligence as they could to figure out exactly what their liability would be. But there was always a lot of uncertainty because, let's say you were acquiring 50 units in a 100-unit condominium. Mm-hmm. Well, it's clear that you have liability on those 50 units, but do you have liability on the other 50? So that was always an issue, and then you had to go through all this due diligence, which sometimes you wouldn't uncover all the problems. I mean, if there was a deficiency in the filing of the condominium documents, that was easy to figure out from just looking at what you did with what was filed with the Division of Condominiums to see if there was any deficiencies that were not corrected. But there's other things that you don't normally discover in the due diligence. So, in light of that, the Condominium Association lobby and the lender lobby got together, and they've been going after the legislature to pass something to stimulate this distressed condominiums.
Right.
In other words, to foster investment. And the problem is that a lot of buyers were looking at these projects and doing their due diligence and then backing out at the last minute because they weren't certain of what the potential risk would be.
Didn't know what their liability was going to be. I understand that. That is a real big concern. So what did this act do? Is this helpful?
Well, yeah, this act is great. It basically, unfortunately, the act is only in effect from July 1, 2010 to July 1, 2012, which means that you have to have acquired the unit where the deed is recorded between those time periods. Or if you don't, you're not covered by the act. So basically, the act says, hey, if you're acquiring more than 7 units, we're going to limit your liability. You're not going to have, for example, you're not going to have liability for construction defects unless you actually undertook the work yourself.
Okay.
Which is fantastic because when you're coming in as a buyer, you're saying, well, wait a minute, here I got to do all these inspections and hope all the construction defects are uncovered. So that's a big deal. Also, most bulk buyers, they just want to limit their liability to just because they in these days they want to hold the units for a bit, rent them out, and they're looking just to get those rights. They don't want a full assignment of developer rights. So they came up with 2 categories: bulk buyer or bulk assignee, and that permits a limitation of liability. Either way, your liability, at least you don't have the warranty liability unless you do the repair work yourself. When you're acquiring, let's say, a conversion, and in a condominium conversion, there's converter accounts that have to be funded in lieu of warranties. And basically, here you're saying, well, they've allowed you to limit your liability just to the units being acquired. So also the director liability, you're limited to director liability for the time period after you elected the majority of the directors. The audit as well, you have to provide an audit on the turnover, on the transfer of control of the board of directors. So there's a lot of things that are great with this act. It gives a bulk buyer, a bulk assignee, the certain cold comfort in terms of acquisition of these units and knowing that their liability is limited. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you wish to look at it, the time period is limited for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do that acquisition between the 2-year period. Right now, there's some changes that they're looking at in the condominium law, but they really don't affect this area. I just spoke to someone in the, as a matter of fact, I spoke to the bureau chief this morning to see if there were any other changes that were going to affect this, and he didn't believe that there were. So, at the same, it's a good thing because at least it gives a certain amount of certainty to what your liability is going to be, and I would think that should stimulate the condominium sales.
It sounds pretty innovative. Are there other states that are doing something like this to stimulate, the sales of these bulk purchases?
Well, my bailiwick is the state of Florida, right. So I'm not familiar with other states, and my practice is in the state of Florida. But I mean, Florida is the sort of the capital of the distressed condominium.
Yes, it is.
The condominium boom.
Yes.
So I mean, it would make sense that they would have something like this, and it's a great opportunity for investors.
It is. It is.
And even in your auction situations where you're auctioning off a bulk of units in a condominium.
Yep.
It permits the buyer to limit his liability, to tailor his liability to what he wants to do with the project. And he can get the assignment of rights that a lot of times you can't get in a regular foreclosure, because in a foreclosure, the lender will just foreclose on the units, but won't necessarily foreclose on the developer rights, and you have to have the appropriate assignment from a lender, which a lot of times you're going to get some static from a lender that doesn't want any liability when it's selling its REOs. But when you have a bankruptcy court, you can have a bankruptcy court say that the receiver can assign these rights, which is something that's very important.
Fernando, I think I could talk to you for another half hour on this topic, because it's very fascinating, and it's really a stimulus for getting these bulk purchases done and taken care of, getting more investors. How can people get a hold of you, Fernando?
Well, I gave you my my bio that I believe has my phone number and my address.
Yeah, that's 305-428-5118. And how about your website? What's the website for Hinshaw?
I believe it's there on the bio. I don't have it in front of me.
No problem. It's Hinshaw, HINSHAW law.com. Fernando, thank you so much for calling in on this great Memorial Day weekend.
Thanks, Doug. Great talking to you.
You bet, and have a great time with your family.
All right, thank you.
Take care. Okay, real good stuff. Real good stuff.
I'm United States Senator Marco Rubio, and you're listening to News Talk 1240 WFOY, St. Augustine, Florida, the voice of St. Augustine.
MarkNet Alliance is a national, membership-based network of 41 auction companies. Our companies are successful auction professionals with proven track records and thriving businesses. The MarkNet companies have a staff of over 540 employees who are working hard every day to meet the goals of their clients during our ever-changing economy. MarkNet companies are able to achieve these goals through cutting-edge technologies and ever-growing investor pools. To view the hundreds of auctions currently being conducted, or for more information, visit marknetalliance.com.
Okay, we have a new caller.
Doug.
Hey, how are you doing, sir?
Wonderful, and yourself?
Well, wonderful. This is John Rowell from Rowell Auctions in Georgia. Tell us a little bit about Rowell Auctions.
Doug, we are we're a company, a national real estate auction company. It's been in business for 75 years. At the moment we are specializing in bank REO, just getting everything done the best we can.
Well, you've had some very successful auctions recently, 350 properties, I believe, in the North Carolina area. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Oh, very, very good. What other kinds of auctions are coming up?
Doug, we've got some lots, lands, and homes in the northwest Georgia, western North Carolina area. They're up on our website now. That's up and running. We run into next week. We've got some on-site farm sales. and just plugging right on along.
Well, very, very good. What is your website again so people can go on and see these upcoming auctions?
You can take a look at everything we've got online at www.arrivalauctions.com.
Excellent. Now, you are kind of on the cutting edge of this thing I call social media, or somebody calls social media, and it's basically getting the word out quickly to people who are interested in what you're selling, what you're talking about. Give me a little update, because you're younger than me and know this stuff a lot better than me. So tell me a little bit about how auction companies use social media and real estate companies use social media to get the word out.
Doug, we use Facebook and Twitter. Also use a social media networking site by the name of LinkedIn. We are friends just through the connections with personal connections, business connections. We looked up the other day and we're sending some, as a matter of fact, we were sending some stuff out on a radio show, and between two of us here in the office, we hit about 1.6 million
Holy crap.
viewers. There again, that's just between two folks. But what you've got to look at is it goes to your friends. It goes to friends of your friends. It just snowballs. It goes out to their friends. It's truly amazing.
Well, I was very pleased that, number one, this radio show is now picked up with MarkNet Alliance, and it's on their website.
Totally.
Of course, it's on RAL Auction website. It's also on YouTube. And just recently, The Real Deal, which is a real estate media down in the South Florida area, in the New York area, just picked up an interview from the show. So all your hard work is really taking off, and I appreciate your work and Carlton's and Allison's and in getting this work done and producing the show, and very appreciative.
Thanks so much, Doug. We're glad to be working with you on it.
Well, tell me again about RAL Auctions. How long has it been in business?
We were started in 1936 and have come on. We started out as a insurance company and a small brokerage, and in the late 70s developed into decided we'd start auctions just as a side, just a side venture of our business.
Right.
And a couple of years after that, we sold off the insurance agency and went full blast auctions.
Well, it's great, and again, internet auctions have taken off, and internet marketing has taken off. Do you have a telephone number that people can call into RAL Auctions to get more information?
Certainly, Doug. It's 800-323-8388.
Very good. Hey, John, thank you so much for calling in this Memorial Day weekend. I appreciate all your hard work and everybody else's for the show. You have a great weekend.
You do the same, Doug.
Bye-bye now. Okay, great show. I thank everybody for listening. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. We'll be back here next week. Thank you.